Do not fear risk in crypto if you want to get massively wealthy in 2025, 2026, in the end of this cycle that we're going into. If you have fear when it comes to risk, then you're doing something wrong. So by the end of this video, I want you to realize you are doing something wrong if you have an exuberant amount of fear related to the risk you're taking in crypto. I also want you to realize that risk is necessary for growth. So regardless of whether it's crypto or not, whether it's the gym or your personal finance or jobs or things you're afraid of or crypto or investing or all these things or starting a business or talking to women, all of the risk is growing you as a person. If you never take risk, then you're really not doing anything and you're not living with this short life that we have. Okay, so risk is necessary, especially necessary for growth in all areas of life. And this ties back into massive wealth generating events like people talk about 10x's, 100x's, 1000x's. These involve risk because you're outpacing the returns of everyone else. Furthermore, there's no need for fear if you do risk correctly and have what I call smart risk, or use your brain and do risk in a healthier way for your portfolio. Okay, so I want to break this video down. Taking risk is the way to get wealthy. You should not fear taking risk if you want to get wealthy. And there's only two decisions that you have from this point forward. I'm making this video because I feel like it's very prevalent for late 2024, early 2025. And this is something I've thought about with myself recently. And I was considering going out and buying a Corvette, buying a Z06. And so that would require a significant down payment on the car. I decided that I'm not, I do love cars, but I'm willing to not buy the car right now. I'm willing to wait 12 months before I get a car, and I would rather take that money and put it into crypto. So this is why this is fresh on my mind. I was going to buy a car, I decided not to, and with that extra money, I'm going to double down on some crypto investments because I think next year is going to be pretty awesome, and I want to take the risk because I feel like I have a healthy system for risk and I'm in a good spot to take some risk. I'm young enough where the risk is not going to wipe me out completely. And so I have a lot of opportunity here. I want to take some smart risk and I want to tell you how I'm thinking about that and why I think it's a good idea for a lot of people. So the first thing we want to establish is you have two paths ahead of you. And I like to think about this as like I'm 70 or 80 years old looking back on my life, and I wonder which path would I rather have taken today when I look back when I'm 70. So you have two paths ahead of you. Take the risk in crypto, right? Take the healthy risk, or take no risk at all. When you take no risk at all, the path is very short. You gain nothing. Nothing happens if you don't take the risk. Maybe you save more money. Maybe you use and do something else with that money, right? Maybe you have different goals than me and all of us here in crypto. Maybe you want to buy a house, so you put a down payment on a house. Okay, you get that. But you don't gain the 100x. You don't gain the massive wealth generating event unless you have a reasonable, really good thing to do with the money instead. Like maybe you need to save it, maybe you need to pay kids' tuitions, right? I'm assuming in this video you don't have any of that because you should already take care of that before crypto. So here we're just left with this decision of, do we invest more into crypto or not? Path number one is take no risk, right? Maybe you just go buy Bitcoin, do the safe thing, which is great. I'm not going to knock that at all. You can make great returns in Bitcoin, but you take no risk and you are guaranteed no return. You're guaranteed no 100x. You're guaranteed no dream goal that you have at the end of this cycle because you didn't make the massive amount of wealth. So you take no risk, you gain nothing, and you learn nothing, and basically nothing happens because you didn't do it. That is a perfectly fine path if you're okay with the things that come on the other side of that path. And I hope a lot of people watching this channel are not personally accepting that path into our life today. I'm 26 years old. I'm not going to accept the path of no risk. So the other path we have over here is we take the risk. And when we take the risk, there's two more things that could happen after that. The first thing that could happen is you're a potential failure. You take the risk doesn't go as you imagine it in your beautiful dreams, and the risk is a failure. But from that failure, a couple things happen. One, you gain a ton of experience, you gain a ton of insight about life, a ton of insight about crypto, a ton of insight about investing, and you forever can say that you've done something. You got into the crypto arena, something happened, and you didn't win that fight. Okay, so you gained experience. And then the second thing that also happened is you lost money, but the odds are you didn't lose all of your money if you're taking smart risk. Now, if you go YOLO 10 grand on a random meme coin and it goes to zero, that's your own fault. You're going to lose all your money, okay? But if you analyze and find like a low cap DeFi project on Cardano or a low cap DeFi project on Alephium, and you did some analysis and you find good tokenomics and good fundamentals and good charts and all these things, you know, and the project just doesn't keep up with the market, like it just doesn't perform as you expect, you know, the founders kind of slow rug and they deliver, but it's like half baked and all this. Odds are, let's say you toss 10K into that thing right now, at the end of the bull market, say it keeps going down, it's gonna be worth like 3K, 4K, 2K. You're still always gonna be able to pull some money out. I had this happen to me when I was investing in stuff in like early to late 2022, sometime in 2022, and I was investing a couple $1,000s into a project that did not meet expectations. It kind of like slow rugged and then eventually just halted. Well, what happened is at the end of the day, I still got out with some of my money. You never lose everything. And so taking the risk in failing is not as big and bad as people make it out to be if you follow a certain set of criteria. Invest in smart risk. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose, right? All the same stuff that we hear regurgitated. So we know what happens. You know, you have this path over here, take no risk, gain nothing. Now over here we have take some risk and you could potentially lose. This is an aspect in every section of life. And we have to accept that there's things we can't control or all things could happen. The other beautiful path that we're aiming to go for here is you take the risk and you gain everything that you've ever wanted. You took the risk, you got the massive wealth generating event, you got 100x or a 10x or 1000x, whatever you were trying to get, you got it. Maybe you wanted to pay off your house, maybe you wanted to buy a Porsche, maybe you wanted to get a Rolex. You achieved that dream. You've done it. It wasn't as hard as you thought, right? Because you followed a certain set of criteria. So naturally, after we lay out the paths of the things that you can do, the question is, well, how do I go down that path? How do I take the risk and not fail? How do I take the risk and have the biggest chance of odds to go down the successful wealth generating path? This is how I would do it. At a high level, there's two big theories that you need to latch yourself to if you want to have the best chance of taking the risk and going down the path that you want of the wealth generating event. Two big theories that you'll hear a lot in crypto that you really need to understand and latch onto and then dive into on a deeper level. The first thing is only invest what you can afford to lose. It sounds very simple. It sounds very dumb to a lot of seasoned crypto investors. And like when I hear that, I'm like, you know, don't tell me that. I've heard that a million times, right? And I'm sure you might be thinking that. You might be thinking, I've heard that a million times. I know not to invest what I can afford to lose. But what does it really mean to not invest what you can afford to lose? I can only talk about my scenario. So my scenario currently is I have 40% of my net worth in cash just because I like a 6 months emergency savings. I like a little bit extra cash and I'm not afraid of the inflation. It's okay. All right. I got 40% of my net worth in the S&P 20% of my net worth is in crypto. I'm using rounded numbers, but 20% of my net worth is in crypto. And then inside of that crypto bucket, I have Bitcoin, which is like a safe crypto. I have Ethereum, which is again a safe crypto. And then I have all of my low cap plays in Cardano and Alephium and Ergo and stuff like that. So of the portion of my assets that are like truly, truly risky in all of my net worth, it's probably like 10%. I'm okay with losing 10% of my net worth at 26 when I have no responsibilities, no car payment, I have a good job, and like all this stuff. So this is going to look a little bit different for you, but when you're setting yourself up with money you can afford to lose, I like to put a lot of backstops protecting me from my mistakes because sometimes we can all be, you know, a little bit, we can all make bad investments or we just don't know what the future holds in the crypto industry, right? And so when you're analyzing what you can afford to lose, maybe it's only $100 you can afford to lose. Maybe it's $1,000 you can afford to lose. Maybe it's $10,000. Maybe it's $100,000. Maybe it's $100 a month, and so over a year it's like $1,200, right? And so when we're calculating what we can afford to lose and what we're comfortable with, I like to think of this as how much money could I invest into this thing before I got emotional? Before I started thinking about it every day, before it consumed my thoughts, before I was addicted to the price charts, what is the amount of money I can invest into an asset and not do any of those things? Because that is where you're healthy. That's where you are in your state of the most power. The second big theory that you need to do if you want to pull this off and have the best chance of taking risk and then getting the outcome that you want of the massive wealth generating event is only investing with strategies and plans that you trust and have confidence in. For me, my strategy, my plan is in the description, called the Crypto 100X Blueprint. And basically what I do is I go into an ecosystem I like, right? First, I figure out where's the market going. Right now it's going up. Then I find a sector I like, which for me is Cardano. I also have a couple other sectors, but let's talk Cardano. Next, I go into that sector and I find native tokens that I like. So DeFi and DePIN projects are typically what I like the most. I don't like meme coins really. I mean, I do like them, but I don't invest into them. I don't invest in the NFTs really. I don't invest into AI stuff or gaming. So I really stick to like DeFi and DePIN because I think it's the stuff people always use. Then I go into that list of my DeFi and DePIN projects and I filter those tokens by fundamental use cases and market dominance and moats and fundamental analysis. Then the ones that pass fundamental analysis, I go and analyze them by tokenomic analysis. Then the ones that pass tokenomic analysis, I analyze them by the chart. And then the ones that have a healthy chart or a chart that I like or an undervalued chart, those are the ones I buy. Currently on Cardano, there's 4 tokens I buy, and I would be willing to go up to 6 tokens, but I only hold 4 tokens in Cardano right now. So I have a strategy, I have a plan, I'm really confident in it. I've been working on it for 4 years, and it's just been really a great ride. I'm very confident in the coins I'm invested in. I think they're great assets. And if you don't agree, it's okay. To me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. And so this is the kind of mental state, the kind of strategy, the kind of execution that you need to be in order to have the best chance of making the best decisions for yourself, for your portfolio, and giving yourself the best chance to trust your gut and get the goal that you want to achieve. You don't have to follow my plan either. I know people in Cardano who only trade NFTs and make thousands of dollars worth of ADA. Okay? They only do NFTs. And I don't know what to do with NFTs. I have no idea. I know people who only do, or there are people who only deal with meme coins, and that's their sector. There are people who only deal in Solana. There are people who only deal in Bitcoin or only deal in Ethereum. You just got to find a strategy and a sector and something you really enjoy doing so that you can learn it better than everyone else. And then the strategy and the plan naturally comes out of the shadows. You're going to lose a little money figuring it out, but at the end, you will be the most applicable to make the most money because you simply know more than everyone else. This is how you build a strategy. This is how you build a plan. This is how you build confidence. So in order to not fear risk, you must have a plan, you must have confidence, you must have a strategy that you trust, and you must trust yourself. I hope this video makes sense as to why you should not fear crypto risk. When you're looking back in 50 years or in 40 years, and you look upon this day to day that you're watching this video, will you wish you would have invested into the asset that you felt was risky, but potentially good? Or will you wish you would have not invested and didn't do anything, right? Neither choice is really right or wrong. Me personally, I think that if I look back when I'm 60 or 70 years old, I think that I would be happy with myself if I took the risk in crypto that I felt like was a good risk today, because over the lifetime of my investing journey, over the lifetime of my work journey, my 9 to 5 journey, my YouTube journey, losing a couple thousand extra dollars or losing 10,000 extra dollars is going to mean nothing. It's going to mean nothing over my lifetime earnings, over my lifetime investments. I simply just don't buy a car and I've made that $10,000 back in interest payments, right? Or I just don't buy a house in my 20s and I wait till my 30s and I've made that $10,000 back, right? So there's all these different options and all these scenarios, and I know money feels hard and tight today, but over the long term of your life, you're going to earn more money. Yeah, you have more potential to earn money. And so it's just this balance. It's this balance. And you really got to figure out for yourself what the right balance is. But my message to you today is don't have all that fear about crypto risk that everyone wants to tell you about. If you have a plan, if you have strategy, if you have confidence, and if you do things in a smart way to limit your emotions, to limit your potential losses, to limit the negative impacts of a loss to the rest of your life, then you're golden. The worst thing that you could do is put yourself in a position where you're taking risks that you shouldn't be taking. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. This is my message for you today. Crypto risk is not as bad as you think it is, and it could potentially be the thing that will generates you a ton of wealth over 2025. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.